Chipotle worker shot by customer in a guacamole dispute. Guacamole. Something that you can pay maybe $5 for was disputed over enough for somebody to cause violence to another person.
You know, we've been covering the news for a long time, but this is a first. A shooting over a guacamole at a crowded restaurant with tons of people eating and in line. It's hard to believe, but we talked to witnesses who saw it all firsthand. Take a look. Chaos at Chipotle. A customer shoots an employee.
It was loud, and then we all just ran out because it was, wouldn't expect to, I wasn't really thinking about there was going to be a shot, but there was.
It happened shortly before 7 o'clock Friday night at the Chipotle on Evergreen in Southfield. Witnesses say it all started out as an argument over food. A source close to the investigation says it was specifically over guacamole.
Are you serious? Is that really what we've come to? The worst part is that this is something that could have been easily avoidable. This man did not need to have guacamole in whatever he had. He didn't need to be violent over guacamole, but he did.
I was just eating a bowl and I heard shouting, and then I look over, they're arguing. One of the workers went to the back, I don't know why, and then when he was in the back, the customer walked around the counter, tried to grab his food and put it in a bag. And then the employee came back and they started fighting, and then we heard a gunshot and just ran out as quick as we could.
The employee, a 21-year-old man, shot in the leg but expected to survive. Meanwhile, the suspect.
He took his time getting out. He was probably 30 seconds after it. I was in my car and I saw him just walk out to his car, close the door, and just drive off. Like he didn't speed off or anything. It was weird to see.
Police arrested the 32-year-old man in a parking lot not far away. Customers who witnessed it all, not surprisingly, in shock.
That's not something you would expect, like, ever.
I wasn't really thinking. I was just trying to get out of there after I heard the shot because it got real all of a sudden.
I still really have not processed it.
As men, we need to do better. We need to do better. Because this guy had no priors. So he probably just snapped.
A licensed CPL holder with no prior criminal history.
But why did he snap? And to be honest, even if there was a why, it doesn't matter. I honestly, if you didn't like the Chipotle service, you could have just left. You could have just turned around and walked away. You didn't need to pull a gun out. You're making it so difficult in this country to be able to have a Second Amendment right. And I'm all for the Second Amendment right. I think you should be able to protect yourself legally. But this kind of situation does not help. But he shot somebody off of Chipotle guacamole. Bro, you could make your own Chipotle guacamole at home. Get some avocados. They're like $2. It's really not that serious. And you know what sucks about this kind of situation? What sucks about this kind of situation is that you can just tell, just looking at the video, a lot of it was based off of pride. You didn't give me enough guacamole. You disrespected me. So I'm going to take matters into my own hands and I'm going to go get my own guacamole. I'm not going to fault the workers because they're trying their best in whatever situation they are, and they're people too. But as a paying customer, you didn't need to go there. Is prison really worth guacamole? This is all for the message for men. Pride is your downfall. Not every single person that disrespects you deserves the most intense reaction. You don't need the most intense reaction for certain things. You don't need the most violent reaction for certain things. Like this, for instance, if someone doesn't give you enough chipotle guacamole, pay for another one. Or if you're at a club or out somewhere and someone disrespects you, leave it alone. It's not worth it. If your lady, right, if your lady is more worried about her pride when someone disrespects her or someone calls her a name over your safety, you should check that relationship. And I'm not talking about like the kind of disrespect where someone like smacks her butt or, you know, grabs her or tries to intimidate her or something like that. Like, you can defend your lady. You can say, hey, I don't like the way you're talking. Hey, can you not talk to her like that, please? I would appreciate it. Things like that. There's ways to protect your loved ones without going to violence. But violence is not the answer. This situation, it just makes me sad. Because it's cliche, because you hear people say, oh, it's 2024, it's 2024. But it really is. Like, we've gone so far as a society, and yet there are still people who are willing to risk it all for something that's not even worth it. We're not in the medieval times anymore. We're not in a place where resources are scarce. There's more resources now more than ever. We have an obesity problem. That tells you that we have a lot of resources for people to be able to consume large amounts of anything and everything, including the internet. So, men, do better. Learn self-control. Look at it in terms of like, is this worth it? Is this something I'm willing to stake everything on? That's in everything. That's in relationships. That's in school, work, anything. If it's not worth it, don't pursue it. Don't bother. It's not worth your energy. It's not worth your time. Put that energy into something else. If you're pissed off at something, go to the gym. Go on a run. Play Pokemon. Play video games. Play something violent. Let the stress out, honestly. But please, just because you have the means to hurt somebody or get your way, that doesn't mean you should. That does not mean you should. So, yeah, guys, like and comment on the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Peace and love.